Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gibbo the Shaman, and so today we're going to be looking at the Disclosure Project briefing document. And so we're on section 4, crash retrievals and extraterrestrial vehicles. And these are select cases because there's a lot more cases than are listed in this document. Alright, so yeah, just I've been doing a lot of thinking, doing a lot of meditating and connecting with these ETs, and what I believe is going to happen is basically we're going to be shifted up to uh the like a lot of people in the spiritual community talk about like the 5D world or the new earth or things like this. And at first I was very skeptical of those concepts, but now I'm like, oh yeah, yep. The ETs seem to agree with those, or, I think that information might have come from actually from ETs. So now we are, in this time where, you know, the the ETs as well as some humans are working on creating that 5D world. And then there's going to also be this this world of healing between the fourth between the third dimensional earth that we're living in and the fifth dimensional. So it's interesting. I just thought I'd bring that up because that's what's coming for humanity. Is there's going to be, a total of 3 worlds, and you can choose to shift up or shift down. So if you don't do anything, if you're kind of in this mindset of negativity, of skepticism, doubt, fear, anger, things like that, victim mentality, then it's going to be, you're just going to go into the 2D world, which is what the um evil elites want. You know, that's what they want. But if you realize that, like, you're a, a divine being of light, and that, that, I think it's really about just connecting to the soul and trying to detach from all of our egoic attachments and be willing to look at things from a new perspective. I think that's where the fourth world people will go. So that's a level up from the 2D. Because the 3D Earth will shift down to 2D, and then you'll have like the. You could basically call it like the fourth dimension. I don't know if that's like totally true, like if it's actually the fourth dimension, but anyway, and then so that world, the fourth dimension, is basically going to be a world of grasslands and rivers, and it's basically going to be, where people are living in like yurts, and yeah, they basically their one mission is to heal themselves before they go on to the fifth dimension. So that's basically what it is, you know. And then the fifth dimension is going to be where Shiva is. So we have Shiva, Vishnu, and then we have Brahma at the bottom. So yeah, um, So Vishnu will be ruling the middle world, and then Shiva will be ruling the top world, the 5D. And so the 5D is going to be like the world of spiritual connection, where ETs and humans are living together and teaching each other and leveling each other up. Now, it's going to be interesting because in the fifth dimension, what's going to happen there is, we think of ourselves as, as less than ETs, right? We think of ETs as these beings who have, extra, extraordinary technology, they're an advanced civilization, and all this stuff. And then we, it's like, but they actually look up to us as the gods, because we have essentially, it takes a certain amount of leveling up before you get to reincarnate in Earth or incarnate in Earth. So, and so that means that some ETs may not be as powerful as you are. So, and this is the leveling up of consciousness. This is the leveling up of the soul. And so, while some people view the Earth as a prison planet, others view it as a school. A school, right? So this is where we're learning things. We are exercising the soul. We are, learn how to act with consciousness and make decisions and all this stuff. And this all puts, it's like putting heavy weights on, And so when you learn to easily master and move heavy weights, then then your spiritual muscles grow, your soul grows in strength. And so that's what Earth is. Yeah. So yeah. So it's our job now. It's each and every one of your jobs to start leveling yourself up. Start meditating every day. Start connecting with ETs. I mean, this disclosure project briefing document, it's a great start. It's great information, right? But it's not enough. It's not enough to just intellectually think about or read about something. You have to put it into action. You have to, it's like reading about someone versus meeting them and seeing what they're like. So I would encourage you to do what's called CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and you'll see what it's like. You're gonna see, and you're going to be able to interact with ETs. And, there's a lot of people who say that they do see E5 and then they don't have any kind of interaction. There's no one around them that they can sense or perceive. But that's just, that's not true. They're always around us. They, if you do see 5 for the first time and you don't sense anything, I guarantee that they're there, and I guarantee that they hear you, that they see you, and they want to connect with you. Again, CE5 is like working out our spiritual muscles. It's let's see how we can perceive things. Let's see how we can, grow our perception, grow our consciousness, grow our sensitivity to these spiritual beings that are trying to reach out to us. Okay? So that's what that is all about. So, in fact, I have a spiritual group that that is like a ET interdimensional discussion group with fellow compatriots and people who are doing these practices. So if you're doing the practices, I might just invite you to the group, but you gotta show me that you really want that, and that you're not going to act in a destructive manner in the group. So it's like a very secret and private thing, because there's only a select few that get invited. All right, so if you want that, you can let me know in the comments. Okay, but I'm gonna have to take people through a whole application process and all that, because it's a safe zone. It's a safe space, and it's a small group, and so I don't want people to interrupt what we have going on. I want people's presence there to add to it, not detract from it. So, all right, we'll continue. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we are. So we're in section 4, crash retrievals of extraterrestrial vehicles, select cases. Okay, so then let's see here. Section 4, crash retrievals of extraterrestrial vehicles, select cases. 1, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, April 20th, 1941. And we can see what's this picture here, what's going on. So we have the big UFO there. And people, fire department, police. Yeah. So this is in 1941. Wow. So even the vehicles match. It's like they have that old style look to them. Alright, so let's see here. Oh, and you can see the ET bodies right there. Wow. Alright. On April 20th, 1941, Reverend William Hoffman received a knock on his door at around 9:30 p.m. from local law enforcement. They were requesting his services on what was originally thought to be a downed aircraft located approximately 15 miles outside of Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Upon arrival at the scene, he saw a 25-foot diameter disc-shaped craft that came down in a farmer's field. The unknown craft had a hull breach on its side, revealing a collection of interior components. These included a small metal chair, gauges, and dials. He also saw what appeared to be writings or inscriptions, which reminded him of Egyptian hieroglyphics. It was metallic in color and had no seams. Nearby the object, he saw 3 small bodies lying on the ground. They were all similar in appearance and were wearing one-piece, tight-fitting flight suits. They measured approximately 3.5 feet tall, with oversized heads and eyes. Upon further inspection, 2 were already deceased, but 1 was still alive. Father Huffman prayed over the 2 which had expired, giving them last rites. The local fire department was already at the scene, as well as a number of newspaper reports. 2 local people on the farm lifted up one of the bodies and stretched out its arms as a photographer snapped a photograph. Soon thereafter, the military showed up and surrounded the area. He was specifically told this didn't happen. You didn't see this. This is a national security situation. It is never to be talked about again. So here you can see boxes, it's like crates. And then you can see here on the right-hand side, 3 alien bodies. I assume they're in this I don't know, what I would assume is the, what do you call it, how they have in those alien shows, they're in this liquid container with that suspends their bodies or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's what that looks like. And then up here on the upper left, there's a panel coming out where you can see something. So, yeah, it's interesting. And then, let's see. Alright, so let's see here. So this is underground storage facility in Washington, D.C. After arriving back home later in the evening, Reverend Huffman was visibly shaken and affected by what he just witnessed. He then proceeded to tell his family members what had happened and never spoke of the event again. Further investigation on this case indicates that the debris, craft, and bodies were associated with this retrieval operation were secretly transferred to an underground facility at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. That's interesting. Because, yeah, I never really considered that the Capitol might be, it's very rare that the shadowy elements would actually keep something of this importance at the Capitol. All right. So, number 2, right field, Dayton, Ohio, 1946. And there's a saucer. And then you have the ET bodies towards the bottom there. That's interesting. Alright, so let's see here. It was 1946 when a 6-year-old Tex Martin accompanied his father, Jack Martin, who installed aircraft instruments at Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio. His coworkers ate lunch together in a small cafeteria furnished with picnic tables, which were directly connected to a much larger hangar. Upon arrival, both Tex and his father noticed unusual activity. Multiple military vehicles were parked in front of the hangar doors, and army men were present inside. Inside there was a large sliding panel door which separated the cafeteria from the main portion of the hangar. As Tex entered the cafeteria area, this door was just closing, but not before he got a brief glimpse inside. To his surprise, Tex recalled seeing 2 18-wheel tractor trailer vehicles with mysterious hardware/debris on top, which were covered by a standard issue military tarp. He could also see what appeared to be a light-colored disc-shaped craft, which measured approximately 20 feet in diameter. It had tripod landing gear and a flat band which wrapped around its outer circumference. Lying next to the craft in the hangar floor were 3 bodies on stretchers. They were brownish color and had oversized pear-shaped heads. Each body measured 3.5 to 4 feet in height. He could also see many blankets layering on the floor. The soldiers appeared to be folding up a large tarp. Interesting. So that's interesting. Looks like a different picture than this one, or different craft than this one. That's crazy. Excuse me. Alright, let's see here. A second account of this incident originated from a first-hand military witness that was stationed at Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio, 1946. Let's see here. The source served as a private/clerk specialist and worked in the field of records management. It was his job to maintain the files of all personnel who worked at the base, including U.S. Army and U.S. Navy. He was delivering a group of records to Building 18 and encountered a friend who worked in base security. His associate asked if he would like to see a strange aerial craft that had recently arrived at the base. He followed a guard who led him further inside the facility and was shocked to see a disc-shaped object resting on the floor. It had previously arrived by a railroad flat car from Arkansas. The craft measured 15 feet in diameter and was 7 feet high. Okay, so my thing is, I'm thinking about what a railroad car, the dimensions of that, and it's like 15 feet wouldn't fit on that, you know? I don't think it would, anyway. You know, unless there was like, I don't know. It's just very odd to me that 15 feet wide by, let me see here, 15 feet in diameter and was 7 feet high. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That seems like, I don't know. Running along the outer circumference of the craft was an 18-foot flat section that incorporated what appeared to be a 10 by 15 foot transparent windows. 10 by 15 inch transparent windows. The craft had no seams, no weld marks, no hatches, no rivets or fasteners of any kind. It was completely devoid of seams, of seats, control panels, or instruments. And its only interior feature was a 3-foot diameter central 3-foot diameter central column that ran from its floor to upper ceiling. The security guard mentioned that several scientists had made attempts to enter the craft, but that their efforts had failed. Diamond-tipped drill bits had been used to pierce the exterior skin of the craft, but were unsuccessful. Oh my gosh. So they had like diamond-tipped drill bits. I mean, you may or may not know, but like diamond can cut through anything, pretty much. I mean, it's the hardest substance on Earth, which means that this material would be even harder than diamonds, which is crazy. Alright, let's see here. Let's see here. diamond drill bits have been used to pierce the exterior skin of the craft, but were unsuccessful. After about 10 minutes of examining the craft, the security guard became nervous and asked his friend to vacate the area. Yeah, that was probably a wise choice. Because, it's like, yeah. Anyway. So, that this is it, the reason for fear here, is valid, because, like, security guard getting nervous, that's totally, valid. Because what these secret shadowy elements do is they've tried to take Dr. Stephen Greer's life, I think 2 or 3 times now. They've tried to give him, like, he recovered from cancer that they put into his body, via, from a distance away, but they still did it. And then, he was in a pretty horrible car crash and still lived. So, even though he had injuries, he still lived. And that was all, orchestrated to get rid of him because they don't like what he's doing. And so, this just tells you, like, and other whistleblowers have had their whole lives destroyed because they know things. So this cabal will stop at nothing to harm people, to destroy them. So, alright guys, so let me see here, what time is it? Okay, so then let's see here. We'll do one more of these. So this is number 3, Saucer Retrieval, Globe, Arizona, January 1947. And there it is. And looks like there's a dirt road going right through this. Or that might not be a dirt road, but something like that. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting. Alright, let's see here. I'll try to zoom in here. There we go. Alright, researcher Bill Hamilton tracked down and interviewed a first-hand military source, witness WH, who claimed that he had accidentally witnessed the very early stages of a full-scale UFO crash and retrieval operation west of Globe, Arizona, January of 1947. According to the source, who served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, he was on leave at the time and was joined by a friend who had just left the Army. Both were driving in a Jeep near Superstition Mountains and were on a scouting trip looking for desert property. It was around 5 p.m. when they encountered Air Force personnel armed with rifles. They were both immediately stopped and questioned by a second lieutenant. They were both asked for identification, and during the interrogation process, WH could see additional military personnel standing near an object approximately a quarter-mile away. The object was disc-shaped with a dome on top. It measured approximately 30 feet in diameter and was 18 feet high. It was partially buried into the sand and was tilted up at about a 40-degree angle. Along its outer rim were 2 rings with what appeared to be indented windows in between. Alright. Cool. Right on. So that's interesting. Let's see here. So then we'll pick up next time with, yeah. So, guys, I try to keep these kind of short. I try to do, 30-minute spurts of video, just so nobody gets bored and nobody it's like there's only a certain amount of attention span that people have, but yeah, we'll pick it up next time with the Roswell crash. Alright, guys. So, let's see here. So, yeah, it's like, what do you call it? I forgot. But, so yeah, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe and all that stuff. If you really, really liked it, you can hype the video. It's like you're watching on a mobile device. I think it's a mobile device only. Then you can do that. Yeah, and then of course I have other things to offer, like I have my astrology readings. I have rune readings. I have all kinds of stuff to offer. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, then go to gebotheshaman.com or patreon.com/gebotheshaman. And yeah, that's about it. Alright, so we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. We'll see ya.